it's a pretty fantastic experience to be able to witness the sounds of the Arctic. It's really quiet and beautiful, and this is what really makes it special. Virtually every mountain is skiable there. We have like a nice big pole and some beautiful shoulders, big faces if you're into that kind of skiing, and some really nice ridges, absolutely amazing ski terrain. So you have a lot of wildlife there. It's like a bit of an Arctic wildlife festival. It's like a pretty magical experience. The place is already surreal. You're going to see untouched slopes, pristine nature, calm, and then really cool lines. It's a one of a kind. I'm gonna tell you guys everything you need to know about Svalbard. That's mostly why I really like it there, what made me come there. A little bit of an introduction about myself. So I'm in Revelstoke at the moment, and the picture on the right there is skiing a couloir in the local backcountry on Ghost Peak. And then on the left-hand side, it's my smiley face after having skied a fun big line back in Chamonix, which is the other place I like to spend my time in. So you'll have understand by now, like, I'm a skier. I love it. I do it like all the time on my off time. And yeah, I'm French and Canadian. And what really drove me to come and work in Svalbard is just after looking at the map for so many hours, that place really gets stuck in my mind because it's so far north, so beautiful. It's got such a cool geography and such cool landscape. It took me a bit of time to get there, but once I finally got there, I fell in love with the place even more. So I've been guiding now for 10 years and ski guiding for 7 years, and I've been going to Svalbard for the last 5 years, and it's yeah, it's been really amazing, and this place just keeps on surprising me and keeps on exciting me. So every year when spring comes around, I can't wait to be back exploring the beautiful frozen landscape that's there. So this is what it looks like in the picture. We go out there with a beautiful sailboat and get you guys to have an amazing polar adventure. So this is a place that's really far north, Svalbard. So what we're going to cover is where it is, and then we're going to cover what makes it cool, how it got discovered, the wildlife we'll find there, and then polar bears, because it's a big feature or something we have to be aware of. Also, what's a typical day like when you're on a ski and sail, and then what kind of skiing you can expect, who is this trip for, then the kind of ships we're going to be on, what gear and clothing to bring, how to prepare physically, and I'm sure mentally you're already ready if you're here, so that's really good. But first, let me show you where is Svalbard. So here's a little view of where is Svalbard. So you see Greenland there in the middle, and we're going just as far north as North Greenland, and there's Svalbard and Longyearbyen, the capital. There you have it, and you can see the runway there on the northern tip, and this is where you guys will be coming in, and then we'll take you from the airport to town and then onto our ship. So Longyearbyen is the way you'll get in, and here's a bit more detailed view of what it looks like. So here at the North Pole, North Greenland, Russia, and then right in between Greenland and Russia, we have Svalbard, or Spitsbergen. Some of you might have heard it called as such. You see it's very far north. It's above the Arctic Circle. And here on this map, we can see a little bit of the ice limit of the winter ice. And luckily for us, it's ice-free most of the year, which allows us to come and sail so far north, which is a really unique feature. Like, there's not many other places in the Arctic where you can sail at this time of the year, just because it's all locked up in ice. And yeah, Longyearbyen is one of the northernmost international commercial airports, so it really allows us to do some cool skiing. So to give you a little bit of a closer look at what the archipelago is like, we have it here. So we now know it as the Svalbard archipelago, and you might have heard of Spitsbergen. So this is the main island that we have here. So if you see my cursor, this is the western island. This is where we do most of our skiing. And I'll point you to Longyearbyen, which is right there where you'll be landing. And our skiing focuses on this area, so the western coast. This is where the most fun is to be at, and this is where also the wildlife is. And so here's a little bit of a closer view of the area that we focus on for the skiing. We'll depart from here and ski within this area, and then Oscar-Land, and then cross Jordan up here. Prince Calfar Land is also really, really beautiful. And if we're lucky and the conditions line up, then we might even go to Belsen and Van Mingen Jordan. Really all beautiful spots, all absolutely amazing. And then at the time of the year we are there, in May, you might even see the limit of the sea ice floating around, some icebergs in these beautiful fjords and big water channels. So it really makes it truly special. And you see here, it's all glaciated. And yeah, this is what captured my mind when I first laid eyes on the map of Spitsbergen. It's just how much ice is there and how many mountains are there. It's just a perfect ski landscape. This is what really makes it special. Virtually every mountain is skiable there, so you're in for a treat. So let me tell you a bit more about the other features of Svalbard besides the absolutely amazing ski terrain. So you have a lot of wildlife there. That's most abundant and like most in your face is the reindeer. The Svalbard reindeer, they've adapted to be there, and they're like these big fluffy creatures that like just roam around kind of a bit naively, and they're really fun to watch, really cute, and they're quite curious. So they might come up to us when we're like on the skiing track, going up to wherever we want to go and ski for the day. And you see like their hair is everywhere and they're just a big part of the landscape. Endemic species to this place as well. Along with these guys on our way to going ski touring, we usually take a little tender, and what we might see is one of these beautiful bearded seals. So they'd love to lay on the ice. That's their resting habitat, and they're just rolling around the ice waiting for a better time to go fishing. And if you're lucky enough, one of the things that I think is just fascinating with these guys is that they vocalize. So you might be in the boat and hearing just a little leery noise, and it's this guy's vocalizing, and you can really hear it resonate through the hull of the sailboat. It's like a pretty magical experience. The place is already surreal, but when this guy starts singing, it's just a really beautiful moment and yeah, a rare occasion. The cousin of this guy is the little harbor seal. They're everywhere around, little rock sausages. They kind of tend to follow us and welcome us on shore as well. They're very local and very shy. They're a cool little part of our trip. They're very often around since we stay along the coast. And who might be on the look to make sure these guys stay alert for bears to come would be the puffins just nesting along the coast. They're really beautiful sight. Their bright, beautiful orange beak are in full display at the time that we're here in May, because it's also their reproduction time. And yeah, they're a really cool sight. They're everywhere on the water with other birds such as little auks and burning guillemots and fulmars. There's just oftentimes quite a few birds following us. It's like a bit of an Arctic wildlife festival when we're up in Svalbard, which makes it special, and birds are a big feature. And oftentimes if we see birds, we see other animals because they're good food source for these guys. For example, the little Arctic foxes, and these are cubs looking really cute. And yeah, if we're lucky, we might see them, hopefully in their white coats. So as the summer comes, they change coat and they go from white to brown. Some of them stay brown all year long, or they're actually called the blue moth. But anyways, they're really cute. They're often at the base of the ski lines where we want to go in the little rocky outcrops. So it's really good to keep your eyes out while you're on the approach. You might just see a lot of wildlife. It's really special. I love it. It's very exciting whenever we approach. That's like a very special moment of the day where we get to see most of the beautiful highlights of this journey. And yeah, after we've seen a few animals, then it's time to go up, and it might look like this. This is the kind of typical range of terrain that we can get into, but I'll talk a bit more about this later. Here you see there's some beautiful couloirs in the back, and then like a nice gradual angle looking slope. And so as we come down from this, we very often have beautiful ocean views coming into sight, and a nice frozen beach to look at. And then once we get to that part of the day, you might be able to witness one of these guys as well, which is a beautiful northern Atlantic walrus, which is a big beast that loves to hang out on the beach. It's full of blubber, it's quite slow and a bit dorky. Really a true pleasure to be able to witness these guys like move around. They're a big highlight if we get to see them. They do like to hang out on the west coast, so where we focus on skiing, which is pretty neat. So just on our way going skiing, you might be able to see them in the water, and it might look like this, just a big layer of blubber rolling around. They're pretty fun. They're very cute and quite curious. If you meet the teenagers, they're really inquisitive, and they'll try to touch the boat with their tusk maybe. And in this case, maybe we want to wait a bit to get to the Zodiac because it's inflatable. Just a side note. And yeah, it's a really cool sight. another thing we might be able to see as we like ski back down is these guys, the belugas, since we get like a good eagle eye view from like being on top of the mountains up there in Svalbard. Yeah, they like to follow the coastline as well. And so it makes for really, really beautiful settings. That would already be an amazing trip, right? This is a lot of wildlife. This is like really cool. And this is the part that gets me very excited. It's not just about skiing, it's about seeing the wildlife and the beautiful landscape that might look like this. And so this is typical top of run. Like in the West Coast, the mountaintops are anywhere between like 400 to just above 1,000 meters of elevation. So that gives you a bit of an idea of like how big of days we can do. And on average, we do like anywhere between like 700 up to 2,000 meters of elevation gain a day. So we might go up here like 2 or 3 times depending on how everyone's feeling, and yeah, get one of these beautiful views, and maybe we get to see one of these gorgeous optical phenomena. So Arctic halo, this one's called, or sundog, that has multiple reflection because of ice crystals that are stuck up there in the atmosphere reflecting the light of the sun. And you see just down below it, beautiful open bowl, beautiful corn snow to glide on that's being warmed up by the sun. It makes for pretty top quality skiing. And if we're really lucky, we might even get some powder overnight and get to ski some fresh powder lines under the Arctic twilight. So that's another big feature, is that the sun more or less stays at this height for all of the day throughout May. So in April is when the sun finally comes into twilight, so it goes up and down, and then in May it sticks up into view the whole time. So we have basically 24 hours of daylight to go skiing. So there's no stress, there's no rush. We can just go out when the conditions are best, which is very advantageous. And you might see in the back there we have a beautiful little glacier front that might just look like this. So that's something we can enjoy time in front of once we're done the day of skiing, and just go do a little cruise by and appreciate the sculptures that nature did for us. And being on a sailboat, you have this amazing viewing platform. You can just like drive by drinking a little cup of hot chocolate, defying the cold on your big puffy. It's beautiful. But my favorite part is you might see just down there at the bottom, you have a lot of little ice pellets that are floating at the surface of the water, and you can hear these just crackle, which really adds to the serenity and the peace of the place. It's a pretty fantastic experience to be able to witness the sounds of the Arctic. It's really quiet and beautiful, and something I really enjoy, especially after a full day of skiing where it's high energy and intensity, and then you come back and you're just on this soundless sailing vessel hearing just the ice crack. It's really pretty. And then if we're lucky enough, we might see a few icebergs floating around, which serve as space camp for a few little bird species. And so if we get to see these guys, maybe we'll take it to the Zodiac and go have a little drive around if they're in a safe spot, and we can approach them without too much trouble, which is definitely a big highlight. It's not something that most of us have in our backyard. So it's pretty neat to be able to see it again, like one of the most amazing sculptures of nature. Like every one of them is different and has different shades and hues of blues, and I never get tired of seeing these. They're truly amazing. Yeah, so these also can be a feature that might hide one of these guys that we want to be on the lookout for. You guys probably are quite interested in seeing these guys. You might have heard that Svalbard's a good place to see polar bears, and it's a place where there's theoretically more polar bears than inhabitants, about like 3,000 of them, and they've been there undisturbed for most of their existence. So people have started living in Svalbard only about the 1600s. That's when the first humans came to Svalbard. So these guys were undisturbed this whole time before for like almost 10,000 years. So they had it pretty easy, and they're not scared of anyone. But it's pretty interesting for us to go and see them. So we want to see them in a respectful manner from a distance. And then we can have a really beautiful documentary style moment just observing these guys. They're quite majestic, quite beautiful. And then if we're lucky, we might even see some live action, one of them hunting or fishing, or like a family together. To be able to see that, we need to make sure everyone is out with binoculars, looking in the distance. That's just a good excuse to be out looking at nature. And if you're lucky, you can see a bear. But most likely, if we see one of these guys, it's going to be from a bit of a distance, and it's probably going to look like this. So this is just to put things in perspective. That last photo was really good, but this is what reality is most likely going to be like. This little guy wandering about in the tundra, and then if you grab the binos, you get a bit of the closer look, the more pretty faces. Or if you have a long lens camera, you might be able to take in some good shots as well. This is a truly special moment. I love seeing bears. I love spotting them. So yeah, hopefully when you guys come, we get to see quite a few. They're really special. The only caveat is that if they're around, we can't go skiing in that spot. So then we need to reroute. But that's a bonus, I'd say. Getting to see a bear is always a special day. If we do see one, we do carry rifles just in case. That's something you might have seen pictures of people skiing with rifles on their backpack. That's in Svalbard for polar bear protection because they have been undisturbed for so long and they are the apex predator there. We want to carry a weapon just in case of a last minute encounter where we would have to fend for our lives. But we also carry non-lethal deterrence, which is what we would use in the first place. And then hopefully we never come close enough and it's just for show and it looks cool. So yeah, how likely is it to see polar bears? Is true answer is that there's quite a lot of them and we're in the right area at the right time of the year. So chances are good. And the more eyes are looking, the more chances we get to see them. So we want to see them, but after our ski day so that we can get the good skiing and then we get time to enjoy them. But now we're gonna have a little chat about where do we ski and what's the terrain like. So we're going to focus on the west coast of Spitsbergen. That's the place that gets ice-free earlier. And it makes sometimes for really cool landings where you might be able to like put the sailboat right against the ice. And then you can walk out with your ski on the sea ice, which is like truly special and truly amazing. And then you can get to be lucky and be picked out in the morning. Whoever wakes up last gets to go up the mast and has a look. And then they get to choose the line of the day. No, I wish that was that. It would be quite fun. But if you want, you might get the chance to climb up the mast. But just ask the captain. They're often pretty cool with it. They often like it. But where do we ski is places like this. So that's not too far from Longyearbyen, where you guys land. And this place called Dunmansodden. And it's a really beautiful valley, which might not look like too much at first glance, but you can see there's a big glacier in the back there and then a big face. As you come on up to the valley, it looks like this. You have like a beautiful hidden bowl that offers some really nice skiing and a bit more face skiing, a bit more couloirs back there, a little half pipe kind of feature. And oftentimes we have like really nice approaches and then pretty cool ridge lines to climb up on. So it's a really alpine feel when you're up in Svalbard because the alpine starts from sea level, which is one of the beauties about this place. There's no bushwhacking, there's no tight tree skiing, it's open spaces. You can make big turns and yeah, it's really fun. And as you might see in this photo, it's good corn snow. So the nice thing with having the 24-hour daylight is that it warms up the snow pretty good. So we can choose like when is going to be the best snow of the day, depending on what the cloud cover is going to be like and so on. And then we can go and enjoy the best powder, if there is powder, or the best corn snow, if that's what we're dealing with. And so with corn snow, it's quite well predictable in terms of avalanche danger. It's like less risky earlier during the day since the snow isn't as warm, and then later in the day it's a bit more movement in the snow, so we might privilege going skiing early in the day if that's the case. But generally speaking, at the time that we go, it's good corn skiing, so it's a more stable snowpack. And yeah, it's really beautiful alpine features. And as you might see on this photo, we have like a nice big pole and some beautiful shoulders, big faces if you're into that kind of skiing, and some really nice ridges to go and lay our tracks on. So if you're into that more boot packing style and putting a bit more effort into it, there's some for you. But if you're more into like having just some nice cruisy turns on a big open glacier, there's some of that too. So we can satisfy all the thirsts for skiing. There's a bit of everything, which makes this place really cool, really special. From one dropping spot, you can ski various slope angles and various lines, and yeah, it's pretty neat and usually sunny. So it's far up north, far up in the Arctic, and it tends to be like relatively stable weather for a while when it is, and when it's not, we see it coming. So we have a good eye for like what's the weather to come, and nowadays the forecasting is pretty good as well. So yeah, we can make the most of it today because the information is quite good. To give you a better picture of what your skiing might look like, it'd be just you and all your friends laying down some really good curlies down on the corn snow. there you go. Big open slopes, nice pitch. Starts at probably like 40 degrees and like eases up into the 30 degrees, and a nice way to arrive. Yeah, there's a wide variety of terrain we can ski on. So we just make the most out of what we got and based on what you guys want to ski. So we always consult you guys to make the plan, what's your energy level for the day, and we make it the best possible. And whether you're a split boarder, a skier, or a telemarker, I've had the case where we have all different riding styles, and yeah, it still works really good. There's like amazing lines for everybody to be skied in. As long as everyone's wants for the day match, then we're all good. And so to give you a better idea of what every day looks like, they have a ski and sailor in the Arctic in Svalbard. Here's a few little clips. The first thing I like to do every morning is just to take some time to just really take in the place that we're in, because it's so special. It's like the crown jewel to me. I really love this place, so I try to just soak it all in. Yeah, it's really peaceful, really serene. And so after having grabbed a cup of coffee in the morning, maybe have had a little breakfast as well, which we recommend. You need lots of calories to get going through your day. The next thing might be to go out and yeah, look for these mighty bears or any wildlife we might see. Like you guys by now have a little bit of an idea, whether it's belugas, seals, or foxes, you name it. There's lots to see. So it's always good to grab the binoculars, bring your own if you have some, and have a little scouting around the shoreline to make sure the place we're going to ski is safe. To spot your ski line, so you can be like, hey, Clement, this looks really cool. Let's go and do that. And I'll be like, sure do. Let's go and have some fun. And yeah, maybe we'll get to see some bears on the way. So coffee, a little bit of scouting. And then after that, oh, you might see these guys as well. Little walruses just hanging out on the beach. And then we're like, okay, that looks a little bit dry. So maybe we'll go somewhere else. We just get into the Zodiac, have a little 5-10 minute ride to the shore. So we put all the skis, all the gear, our life jackets on, and then we make sure that you guys have all the equipment before going out, and off we go. We just take a little ride, and then we start putting the skins on, making a little transceiver check, making sure that no one's forgotten anything while the boat is still right by. And then we go on our merry way. We'll get maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 runs, depending on how big it is and what the conditions are like and how you guys are feeling that day. And yeah, might involve a little bit of climbing. You see, she's wearing an ice axe. So if that's something you guys fancy, we can always go for a little bit more adventure. And so once we've done a good amount of skiing, that might look like this. Some like good little corn turns. That's just above Longyearbyen actually. So the day you get in, if you feel that you just can't handle that little itch in your feet, then you can go actually train a little bit above down. There's now a ski lift that got built about 2 years ago, so you can get some laps in, get warmed up. But yeah, this is really beautiful. I really love this place. And so after the skiing, what you might want to do is to cool off, because it could get pretty warm, just like skittering around. And then we can just go for a little polo dip every day if you want it, if you're daring. It's really fun. The water's about like anywhere between 1 to like -1, because we're right in front of glaciers. So it like cools everything right down. And yeah, it's really fun. Maybe you can pet a little seal on the way. And then after you guys come back, you might want to have a drink, chill a little bit, and then we'll look at the weather forecast for the next day, see where the energy levels are at, and kind of plan the day with the best available conditions. So that's in the evenings. And then after that, you have some delicious dinner made by our very professional cooks. And we are able to get fresh produce in town in Longyearbyen, so there's no dehydrated meal, even though you get a bit of that mountain hut feeling, that like little refugio style is classy. It's a proper restaurant, 3 courses per meal in the evening. And yeah, it's really good. Might have a little glass of wine with that to make it go smoothly and to top up the calories to make sure you're ready for an amazing day the day after. Then the last thing to do during the day is just to soak in the views. So that could be the view if you come in that for the earlier trips in early May. You might still get the sun to go quite close to the horizon. But then by the end of May, it's just woo, going around quite high all the time, which is really special. Gives you a lot of energy. It's really something that I cherish and fancy. So yeah, this is a bit of the day-to-day on ski and sail in Svalbard. You're going to see untouched slopes, pristine nature, calm, and then really cool lines. It's a one of a kind. And who is it for? It's virtually for everybody, from intermediate ski touring ability to expert ability. We have like terrain that can suit intermediate to expert. You can go with your friends, or you can bring like your family, like your dad or your brother, and make a big group, or go with one friend and then we'll find you some friends. Otherwise, yeah, you bring your own friends and you make memories for a lifetime to come. This day was actually skiing above Barentsburg, which is like one of the settlements outside of Longyearbyen, and we get to ski a really neat line that was like a beautiful half pipe, perfect corn snow, and offered some like really amazing terrain. And I'm sure these guys will remember forever. That's like a big highlight. So yeah, who is it for? Anyone from intermediate level ski touring to expert. So if you've gone ski touring like for 1 or 2 seasons, and then you feel like confident that you can be sort of any snow surfaces, any like hardness from like deeper powder to shallower cone snow, then this is for you. If you just got into ski touring this year, maybe it isn't. Just wait until next year, get some more mileage, and then you'll enjoy it just so much more. And then if you just want to ride some like steep and hard lines, we also have some of that for you. We have ropes and crampons and ice axes, so you can let your imagination do the rest. And so what is the typical outside temperature? It's sort of like typical resort day, anywhere between like -10 to +5 degrees. Now I'm gonna present you guys a bit about the boats that we have. We have 2 boats for this season so far. And first one that you guys would have seen in the first photo is the Ocean Sherpa. And this is a Dutch owned and family run boat that can host up to 10 guests and then 2 guides. So that gives us a bit more leeway in what we're able to do. And it's a really nice sailing boat. Goes very smoothly through the waves. It's really stable and it's very comfortable. Like it's had amazing beds and a luxurious feeling. It's a bit more classy, I would say. And it offers, as you can see, a really good viewing platform on the outside. It's lots of deck space, and inside the cabins are quite private. They're like larger cabins, and you have some really good spaces, and you have amazing food on there, and just a really nice family feeling since it's operated by this Dutch family. So it's quite fun. This is a bit more of what the inside looks like: classy wood and very comfortable open spaces, and it's got this pirate feel that's just incomparable when you're out there cruising through icy waters on this pirate looking ship. Like you really feel badass. It's quite fun. And the other boat we have is very adventurous as well. It's called Moon Dance. It's got a bit more of a spy feeling. It's a bit more slender, and yeah, it cruises really good. It's really smooth. It makes really good speed. And this one is a bit smaller, so it can host up to 6 guests. And on this boat, you'll feel a bit more part of the crew. It's a bit more intimate and hands-on. You get more of this adventurous spirit, this like low hot vibe where like everyone is together, and it also has a really amazing viewing platform, some good deck space. Yeah, it's really smooth sailing with this boat like in between all the little icebergs. It's quite neat, and it's also very luminous inside. It's got some like nice hangout spaces. And now you're probably wondering, how cold is it going to get? What do I need to bring with me? And the truth is you need to come in high fashion. You need to show everyone how good you are. And you might look just like this. This is the latest fashion in ski touring, as you guys all know. And yeah, you're welcome to bring this. But for the final day's party, what you really want to be bringing is more your standard ski touring kit that you would have tested before, because it's so remote. And we would advise you guys to bring gear that you've tested and you know works for you, because we might not have access to any spare definitely when we're selling, or when you realize on day one, oh, I'm missing this piece of kit. There's a few shops in town that they might not have all the things you need. So here's a good example of what you would be wearing out on the up track. You see how she has like shell pants, so like Gore-Tex type garments, and probably long johns underneath, and then a good base layer on top, the beacon on the outside. This is typical, good standard, and then a shell that will go over top just to protect from the potential wind and a little bit of snowfall that we might get. So this would be like your typical up track, and then probably a cap, and then sunglasses, some sunscreen, good pair of thin gloves, and then for the downhill, in terms of clothing, you probably want to put an extra fleece on top, and then an extra puffy of this kind. Maybe put like a warmer hat, because you go from like going up being quite warm to like going down, getting the wind and that's going to cool you down. So you want a bit of extra layers. And we're up in the Arctic, up in the Alpine, so it'll get colder. So you can imagine it might be like down to -15 Celsius. So in Fahrenheit, it would be probably like around, yeah, 0 or less than 0 Fahrenheit once we get to like the higher mountaintops in the early season. So you want a nice warm down puffy to go down, and then some nice warm socks, wool socks in your boots. A big thing is to not bring any cotton clothing because they'll get moist and they'll stay moist, whereas synthetic or wool garments will stay warm. So yeah, you want basic ski touring kit, at least 25 liters backpack, beacon, probe, shovel, skis, skins, poles. If you're fancy the mountaineering part, then we ask you guys to bring IFAX, crampon, then we'll take care of the ropes. And then yeah, have a pair of sunglasses, some goggles, a buff, a warm pair of gloves for the downhill, a second pair of gloves for when the first one gets wet. Here's a down low on what to bring, and important things are also the items for once you're on board. So like some equipment that you can chill with. So yeah, comfy clothes, comfy shoes, eye mask because it's daylight all the time. So we have good curtains, but it's good to be able to lock out that light. And then some earplugs if you've forgotten that your friend snores quite a bit, then you'll be pretty happy to have these. And then, yeah, some swimwear. So for that little polo plant that you might fancy at the end of the day to keep you fresh and smooth. And then basic travel essentials, passport, insurance, meds. A thermos is also a really nice item to have since it's quite cold. So to put hot tea or hot cocoa. And then, yeah, make sure to bring plenty of filming and snapping photos supplies because it's really beautiful. It's really special. And as much as we guides will try our best to capture these for you, it's also really cool for you guys to take the time and just put all this into solid memories. What about the skis? What kind of skis or board do you want? So we usually want something anywhere between like 85 underfoot up to 105. That'll make for like most conditions. So anywhere around 100. If there's a key number to take away, it's anywhere around 100 underfoot. And then a ski that you know well works good. And then board wise, same thing. You want a board that you know well, not necessarily your massive powder board, but more like a more versatile, a bit more standard size board because we're focusing more on corn snow. Yeah, so that would be about what you need to remember. 100 millimeter underfoot, give or take 10 millimeters, and for a board, not your big power board, more your all mountain, a bit more technical type of board. And obviously with good touring bindings and like pieces of kit that you know, because this is not the time to go out and test a new piece of kit unless you really feel good about it, but at your own risk. We do have some rentals available if something was to happen also during the transport of your skis. So we got you covered. The last little topic that I'll cover in terms of like preparation is how to get physically fit. And basically, you want to go as much ski touring as possible. Not like this guy. He's just chilling, waiting for it to happen. You don't want to be this guy. You want to be this guy leading the pack, feeling good so you can make the most out of your backcountry trip. This is like a unique place. You might not go back there ever again. So what you want to be thinking about is not how big of a day you're going to do, is that you're going to be out ski touring for 7 days in a row and you want to be able to sustain those 7 days. So ideally, you want to be able to, in preparation, do 2, 3, maybe 4 days of ski touring in a row in your preparation. So maybe take a hut trip somewhere. And that's probably the best preparations just to go out and do the thing itself. I understand not all of you will have this possibility. So hiking is a good thing to do. So multi-day hiking, it like uses similar muscles on the uphill, definitely on the downhill, not as much. So to compensate a little bit for that, a lot of leg exercises such as squats, lunges, and then core is really important to help you keep your back straight and keep away from any strains and pain. So good leg workout, good core workout, and then a bit of mobility as well. So work on the hips and the knees. Do like exercises that don't involve too much weight, but keeps you nimble and keeps your articulations happy and supple. And here's a little bit of a takeaway. And yeah, here's some little resources. But basically, try to go out as much as possible and back-to-back days because you want to make sure you'll be able to handle the fatigue of 7 days back-to-back ski touring, or even 9 days if you choose to go for the longer trip. The key focus is being able to go for a lengthy period of time. Okay. And so, yeah, if you guys are really looking for a magical adventure, I think you should come on this trip and I'll certainly be there. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's a unique experience and a place I really love, and it's hard not to fall in love with. So yeah, I hope to see you guys soon.